Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe. I apologize for being a few minutes late here. Had a couple things pending here on the system that we're trying to load up so that we can actually do the show. And was enjoying some coffee while I was at. By the way, what are you guys and gals enjoying today? It is indeed a beautiful, wonderful Friday. We're going to be a little squirrely on the show today. I hope that's okay. But we're going to take a look at some stuff that Robert Kiyosaki's been starting to say, which is kind of lining up with a lot of things I've been saying. With that, we're going to take a look at good old stuff that ties into what Kiyosaki's saying. I'm going to add a couple things to that. But I'm also going to look at a couple of different opinions, if you will, some opposing opinions around what's going to be taking place with the price of Bitcoin coming up in the near future. The reason I'm going to do that is because after that, I'm going to give you my opinion. So you get three. Anyhow, so on the show here and Papa Joe Show, we go through and we have a good time connecting dots economically, cryptography, all that fun stuff, technologically. I'm a very technical person, but I also understand the business side of stuff as well. So it's kind of fun when we get to come on the show and have a great time. So there is a live chat. If you are watching live, do me a favor, pop in the chat and at least say, hey, I would absolutely love it if you guys and gals come in there and say hi so that I know who's watching. Would love that. Also, if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, consider subscribing. What that does is help grows the channel, lets YouTube know that the content that we produce here is worth other people watching. And as you get towards the end of the show, if you like what this one particular show has to say, smash the like. Definitely appreciate it. All right, so let's get into the content, shall we? And if I can get buttons working, fantastic. It wasn't working a minute ago. I always check things before we start. Anyhow, so today, and let me close this one thing that's being a pain in the butt. All right, sorry about that. Today, we see prices of Bitcoin sitting around, wrong button. Trying to hold up above the whole $19,000 range. My mic's being weird. Can y'all hear me? I think it's on now. Sorry if I disappeared. Anyhow, where was I? Oh yeah, $19,000 range. I think we'll start to see it running up here shortly, and I'll show you guys why in just a little bit. The Dow is up, oddly enough, which is weird. So is the Nasdaq, and so is the S&P 500. And yes, I say it's weird because, quite frankly, the plunge protection team has been doing their best, darndest, whatever you want to call it, to get that, well, whatever you want to call it, to keep the prices up, right? You got gold, had a nice run. Silver did as well. Let's see what happens now that we have that little candle that's coming down. Let's go look at the day chart, shall we? So silver is down, but trying to take itself up. Let's see if it happens, right? Who knows? You got Divi. Divi is trying to gently rise. Let's see if it actually can continue to do so. Divi is an interesting one. If you're not paying attention to the Divi project, you really should be. You really should be. So Ethereum, we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Matic seems like it's trying to maybe consolidate. This is the day charts, so should be interesting. Now, Axie had an interesting couple of days. I don't know what's going on with Axie, but it is a metaverse game, so let's see what happens with that one. I didn't mean to click that. And last but not least, check today is the mortgage rates. They're continuing to climb, and they're going to continue to climb, and I'll explain that here in a moment as well. So, what does Robert Kiyosaki and Papa Joe have in common in what we've been talking about? This should be interesting. Let's click over here if this button will work. This button will work. All right, cool. Stocks and bonds are toast. They sure are. Bonds especially. If y'all aren't paying attention to the bond market, you really need to be. The bond market is probably 100 times bigger than the stock market. So you got the indexes. We talk about the indexes often over here on the show. You got Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500. Those are fantastic indicators to follow along with, but this particular app, I haven't been able to successfully pull any of the bonds in. But I will tell you, that the 10-year is rising, the 20-year is rising a lot. I mean, a lot. That is actually Black Rifle coffee today. Very, very good stuff. Anyhow, so Robert Kiyosaki warned central banks can't fix inflation. Yep, same thing I've been saying. And that fake money is forcing state pensions to pivot. Here are 3 real assets he likes. Now, and we all know that on the show because I talk about it often. If you're new to the show, I am a really big fan of Robert Kiyosaki's method of teaching. His method is thought process. I'm very aligned with that because I kind of think that way myself. It's kind of how I operate, if you will, in life. And Robert, if you end up watching this, I appreciate what you're putting out there. I'd love to have you on the show. Not a big show or anything, but it'd be fantastic to have a conversation with you. So, anyhow, interesting things. We know what those are. Those assets are gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And he also, I'll add another one he's mentioned in there as well, is food. You can't eat Bitcoin, you can't eat gold, you can't eat silver. And maybe even some lead in there. That may be a good thing. Anyhow, the Bank of England recently bought $19.3 billion euros, of UK government bonds to prevent a collapse in the country's pension industry. Did y'all know that? Well, last Friday they were supposed to stop buying all that stuff. In the eyes of Rich Dad Poor Dad, author Robert Kiyosaki, there's a sign to acquire 3 specific alternative assets. Bank of England pivot means buy more GSBC. He says in a recent tweet referring to gold, silver, and Bitcoin, when pensions nearly collapsed, it exposed central banks cannot fix inflation. It can't. No matter what they do, no matter how much they raise the rates, no matter what bonds they buy, no matter how much they try to support the markets, all they're doing is creating a hyperinflationary problem. This is how it ends. I tell you guys all the time, please go watch. Here, actually, I'm going to pull it up on the thing here. I tell you how to go to my website, Astra Blockchain Consulting. It's linked in the description of the video. And go over to the, if I can pull it up appropriately, go over to the resources tab right here. All the way down to the bottom. I call it required education. I say that often because Mike Maloney, amazing guy. Pull this up over here. There's your link for it. Takes you right to the 10-part series. Highly recommend. He's not for Bitcoin cryptocurrency in the beginning, but he does an entire series right here about what that looks like. He also digs into Hedera Hashgraph. I don't know why he liked that one so much, but he did, and it is what it is. My personal opinion is I've actually talked to the Hedera Hashgraph guys, and it's not really a blockchain. It's using protocols on the network. Anyways. We could talk about that later. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Pensions have always invested in GNS. I don't know what GNS, gold and silver, I guess. Pension funds now invest in Bitcoin. They do. A lot of people don't realize that yet, but they do. They know fake dollar stocks and bonds are toast. They're buying gold, they're buying silver, and they're buying Bitcoin, and probably other cryptocurrencies as well. We'll get to that in a minute, as I have an interesting one. Fidelity is doing some fun stuff. Of course, gold and silver and Bitcoin aren't exactly perfect investments. No, there isn't really a perfect investment. There just isn't. Because you always have a buyer, you always have a seller. However, Bitcoin, gold, and silver, Bitcoin is more of a fungible asset because it is easily transferable between parties. Anyhow, precious metals, particularly gold and silver, have been a popular hedge against inflation and uncertainty. For the past 5,000 years, that has been the case. Kind of why it's the biggest, baddest, whatever you want to call it. Even though Dave Ramsey will tell you it's not a good idea to buy gold and silver, I disagree with him. I don't agree with that thought process at all because gold and silver has outperformed the entire stock market for the past, 50, 100 years, something like that, by a lot. If you had just bought it and held on to it, it has outperformed the whole thing. Anyhow, crazy stuff in my personal opinion. Let's go back over here. Let's see. They can't be printed out of thin air like fiat money, and their value is largely unaffected by economic events around the world. Kiyosaki has long been a fan of gold, right? We all know that. If you've read his books, you understand that. He first purchased the yellow metal in 1972, which is incredible. I'm not buying gold because I like gold. I'm buying gold because I don't trust the Fed. This is why all of us here, this is why I like Bitcoin. Don't trust the Fed. Don't trust the dollar. I just don't. Kiyosaki likes silver too. In fact, he recently tweeted silver's the best investment in October 2022. And everyone can afford $20 silver. They really can. The thing is that silver is going to go to a priceless point. It's going to become, as Cliff High calls it, unattainium. It's going to be called unattainium because you will not be able to get it. The thing is that when we get to the point of where we have things happening like this and the economy collapsing the way it is, you're going to have some problems. And gold and silver is going to be how you protect yourself. And I've always said on the show that cryptocurrency is the exit strategy because there will be only so much gold and silver that people will be able to be able to get hold of. You're only going to be able to go to your pawn shops, your jewelry shops, whatever you want to call it, and buy only so much of it, right? There's going to be a limited supply. If you have it in a vault, that's fine. You do whatever you want. I would recommend at least holding some of it in your personal possession because those vaults are guarded by guards and companies, and they're going to go and take care of their themselves, their families first. Personally, in my opinion, you can't buy silver at its current listed price. The premiums are incredible. Same with golds. Same with platinum. Same with palladium. The price that you will pay is actually significantly more. I think what is it? Economic Ninja was talking about how the premiums right before the last recession went up in intense and so much so that it ended up being crazy. You're paying. I think he was saying you're paying like 50% more over spot or something like that. It's insane. It's insane. We're almost there, guys and gals. If you could buy any quantity, but any smaller coins, like you can go buy a 10,000 ounce bar of silver, but how many can you buy? How many can you take delivery of? Right? Those are very, very, very different scenarios. Or 1,000 ounce bars. Excuse me. It's a very different scenario when it's in a small coin. They'll sell you the bar, but you got to go find a mint that's going to actually melt that down and turn it into coins for you, to where it's actually consumable, right? So anyhow, but if you're going to use it just as a savings account, 1,000 ounce, have fun. Oh wow, Tom, I'll go ahead and pull this up right here. That is interesting. Eagles, it's almost the American Eagles. The silver is up. The premium is 100%. Yeah, we're I didn't even know that. Holy cow. So you're paying $40 for an ounce of silver. That's insane. Or thereabouts. Wow. What is an ounce of silver at? Yeah, about 40. Holy cow. Oh, man. All right. So this is why I've been saying cryptocurrency is going to be the exit strategy because people will be able to quickly and easily transfer out of the banks for now. I think once they launch their CBDC, you won't be able to do anything like that. And then you have this little nugget right here. Housing market is in free fall. Yeah, with no floor in sight. And prices could crash 20% in the next year, an analyst says. Interesting stuff. You know what? I'll read the highlights here and then we'll kind of go from there. The housing market will continue to plummet as there's no floor in sight, according to a Pantheon Macroeconomics chief economist Ian Shepherdson wrote in a note Thursday that home prices could fall as much as 20%. I beg to differ. I actually think they're going to probably fall more like 50%. Just my personal opinion. His warning came after existing home sales dropped for the 8th straight consecutive month, the longest slump since 2007. What happened in 2008, folks? What happened in 2008? It's October. It's October. We're going to end up seeing some pretty crazy stuff, I think, coming into the very end of this year and early next year with the home prices. And I've said it many, many times on the show. The homes, these stupid housing market is the bedrock for our economy because it's a debt-based system. That's the biggest piece of debt that most people own. You gotta understand. It's going to see, okay, busy mountain. This is interesting. How you doing, by the way? Some are expecting 9% fall in home prices. 20%, yeah, flip it around. That's probably what you're going to end up seeing. The housing market crash has yet to find a bottom, setting up home prices for a steep drive in the year ahead, according to Pantheon Economics, Microeconomics. The warning came after existing home sales dropped for an 8th consecutive month. 8 straight declines in sales and no floor in sight. It's going to be gruff. It's going to be rough. Let's see. He added that the cumulative fall in sales from the peak in January is now 27%, so it's more than that. But this is not the floor. Shepardson also noted that because mortgage rates have climbed to nearly 7%, which they are right underneath 7%, which has dampened borrowing demand, the result will be a continued decline in home sales until early 2023. I actually disagree. I think it's going to continue well into 2023 and it's going to continue to fall. I think 2023 is going to be your next 2008. It should have happened in 2021. But because we had a pause on all this crap, and I think that's part of the reason that happened, y'all know what I'm talking about. You're going to have this delay. Now this is happening, speaking of where I thought it was going to happen before. Anyway, by that point, sales, this is just their stuff. By that point, sales will have fallen to an incomprehensible minimum level where the only people moving homes are those with no choice due to job or family circumstances, he predicted. Or the fact that they all refinanced their homes and ended up with more than they could afford because they didn't put that money into their house to increase its value. They put that money into buying a car or a boat or a camper. I love going out camping. I will tell you right now that the camping market is flooded with inventory because no one's buying. You know why they were buying before? Because they were able to refinance, get cheap cash, if you will, using their home and buying those campers. That's fantastic. They may end up going to have to live in those campers now, if they even keep them. You know what I mean? Discretionary buyers are disappearing rapidly in the face of nearly 400 BP, I don't know what basis points, I guess, increase in rates over the past year. Yep. Meanwhile, prices on existing homes have fallen to on a sequential basis for 3 straight months, sending the median home price to $384,800, the lowest since March. Yeah, that's not true in my area. I don't know where they're looking at that, but anyhow. But with mortgage rates rising, even prospective buyers who are looking to downgrade to a cheaper home would face bigger monthly payments than they were in their bigger home. That's very true. Very, very true. Crazy stuff. New constructions are even dropping, which is crazy. New constructions dropping is a big deal. Anyhow, y'all see this is happening on top of what Robert Kiyosaki's talking about. Bonds and stocks are all collapsing. The entire thing's going to collapse. You know how you get out of this mess? Gold, silver, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, I think, will be the overall exit strategy because people will not be able to obtain gold and silver. It is my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I say it often on the show. My regulars, y'all hear me say it all the time. I know I say it till I'm blue in the face. It is what it is. So, anyhow, interesting stuff, huh? So, Fidelity. Remember, I talked about how, or Robert Kiyosaki talked about pension funds and like IRAs and 401ks and whatnot. They're starting to actually roll out the purchasing of cryptocurrency in their pension funds and retirement accounts. Fidelity is a big facilitator for those types of financial instruments. Anyhow, they are rolling out Ethereum trading for institutions next week. Yep. Fidelity will officially make Ethereum the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap available to its customers on October 28th. That is literally next week. That is a week from today. After starting the Bitcoin $4.5 trillion asset manager, Fidelity is now turning to Ethereum. Institutional Ethereum capabilities are coming to Fidelity Digital Assets platform on October 28, 2022. Fidelity Digital Assets said in an email sent to its clients, the offering will only be available for Fidelity's existing institutional clients who already trade or custody Bitcoin, which the firm provided services for the beginning of 2020 or 2018. I would not be surprised if they looked into Litecoin, if they looked into Polygon or Matic, and they started adding these other assets that are very good. How you say complements to the other assets that they're offering there. So this is interesting. Yeah, they're starting to get these things stood up. The institutional investors are going to be the ones who are offering the retirement accounts, things like that, because there is no other way for those pension funds, those IRAs, those 401ks to actually successfully be to work, I guess you could say, to have any kind of longevity, if you will, to have any kind of return for their customers. The only way to do it is to have cryptocurrency in them. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Even the retirement accounts, the people who facilitate those, the companies who facilitate that kind of stuff, they're going to have to turn to crypto if they're going to turn a profit. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's what I'm trying to say. Crypto will be the exit strategy. It will be. It will be. Global recession may last until near 2024. Bitcoin's halving. Elon Musk thinks that we're going to see global recession until near 2024. He thinks that's going to include Bitcoin. That's what this article is particularly about. I don't exactly agree with that. The reason I don't agree with that is because with the dollar failing, bonds failing, the stock market failing, just like I was just saying, the major institutions are looking to cryptocurrency to hedge against the entire global economy collapse. The reason being is because it is a method by which they can successfully turn a profit. It's going to be crazy. I highly recommend you guys pay attention to this show, pay attention to Economic Ninja, pay attention to Big Swear. These three shows, if you will. I connect the dots. Bix really focuses on gold and silver, and Economic Ninja really focuses on the economic side of things, gold, silver, how things are coming down the pipe from an actual boots on the ground point of view, if you will. So pay attention to these shows as we come into this stuff. You're going to want to stay tuned to the PAPAJO show for sure. By the way, it's a good point now. I do have a Patreon. I take gloves off on that Patreon and I talk about events, things like that, that are typically would get this channel removed. Let's just put it that way. So check that out. If you feel like seeing any more of this amazing face and hearing my awesome voice, it's in the link description of the video. Go check it out. I do appreciate those of you who are part of that for sure. So yeah, Musk thinks that there is going to be a recession until 2024. Yes, we're already in one, dude. We're already in one, Musk. We're already in one. Where have you been? The only thing is that he's looking at this and including crypto, and I disagree with that. Everything else he says, for the most part, makes sense. Now, that's one opinion. Here's another opinion. Bitcoin move brewing, a big Bitcoin move brewing as on-chain signals flash green. This is why you cannot sit here. I don't know what's wrong with that. You cannot sit here and watch these numbers. This is Coinbase. This is Binance. You cannot watch these numbers. These are paper trade. These are derivatives. These are not the actual thing. Now, this is a little bit different. Gold and silver, same thing. You cannot trust those numbers because that number you're going to pay, as Tom was saying earlier, as we showed, you're going to pay 100% premium. So not $20, $19, whatever it is. You're going to pay nearly $40 for an ounce of silver. Okay, just to put it into perspective, that's not the real price. Just like the real Bitcoin price. You got an on-chain signals, they're flashing green. Invest Answers, that's another channel. Go check out his channel. Let's see. I'm going to flash over here. Hang on just a second. You pull this up. I follow along with his stuff from time to time. I highly recommend. Wrong button. Over here. Come on. If it'll load. There we go. Invest Answers. Go check out his channel. He has some pretty good, unbiased for the most part, information, and he doesn't just look at cryptos. He does look at other assets like Google and Tesla, and just different pieces of the puzzle, right? So he is very much so someone well-rounded. I do appreciate what he puts out. So let's flip back over here to what he was saying on Bitcoin. A widely followed crypto analyst, that guy, says technical indicators suggest that Bitcoin is poised to make a big move to the upside. In a new strategy session, the host of the YouTube channel Invest Answers tells his 444,000 subscribers that the Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index, or BVOL, indicates that the top digital coin may soon break out of its current range. The BVOL measures the historical volatility values of the largest cryptocurrency by market cap against the US dollar. A large spike in volatility often follows when the value of BVOL falls below 25. This is him quoting him now. I want you to train your eyes on the BVOL correlation when it's under that level of 25, and that is the best potential indicator for the upside we have seen in a long time. Typically, when we are down in this little green circle zone for the BVOL, right down here, it means the Bitcoin price has been pumped. It's only been here 4 times in the last 5 or 6 years, and we shall see where it goes. And after every time you see one, it runs. It really runs. Okay? And then it really, really, really runs. All right? Just so you understand, this is where you see that major, major run. Check out. Here's the video. I'm gonna link this in the script. I'm gonna link this in the comments. I'm gonna pin this one in the or actually I can put this in the description of the video. I'll grab this one for you guys. You can go read it and finish it up yourselves if you'd like to. But anyhow, I'm going to run through the chat and say hey to everyone. I love all of you. I really appreciate you all being here. And it is definitely getting on with the day. We've got Lithia in the house. How are you doing? Tom, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being part of the show. As always, both of you are always here. Busy man, you as well. Thanks for being here. It is a beautiful, fantastic day. Marky, what's up? How are you? Haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Joe? How's it going, man? Appreciate you being part of the show. Johnny Mattis, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? Let's see. Who else do we have in here? Kiyosaki has always been contrarian. Yes, he's very, very. It's very small on my screen. I don't know why. Very contrarian in his investments. I love that about him. What's going on, Kim? How are you this afternoon? I love it. I appreciate it very much so. Tom, love God's money. Gold and silver. Yes, sir. Very much so. Let's see here. Who else we got here at the house? Y'all are starting getting into the conversation, which I love. What's going on, Trini man? How are you doing, my friend? I appreciate you being here. Scrolling through. Uh, let's see. Who else is here? We got Bandicoot. How are you doing this afternoon, morning, wherever you are? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Hopefully you are doing well. It's good to see you as this morning for sure. If half the people who got the who ate the cookies, we'll call it that, die within the next year, those homes will flood the market and it will be even worse. So that's something that Cliff talked about, is that we're going to end up having a major inflationary moment, which is where we're at now, or almost at, I guess you could say. And then that's going to happen, and it's going to cause a deflationary problem. There is a inflation and then immediately followed by deflation. Deflation is where businesses go to die. They really do. I hope no one. I hope that it was all saline and everyone's going to be fine. I really do hope that, and that there are few who actually got the bad stuff. My heart goes out to them because they were definitely deceived. Technically, we're all deceived. What's going on, Johnny Holder? How you doing today? I love it. Thanks for being here for sure. George, what's up? Welcome to a buyer's market. Yep, we're almost there. Guess we're kind of flipping into that from a housing perspective. I'm starting to see homes. Seller will do all closing costs. Buy this, do this. And I'm like, oh, we'll make sure this, that, and the other. I'm like, basically, they're bending over backwards because they have to sell. They really do. It's crazy. Crazy. Looks like we're about to see the car market fall off a cliff. Yep, there's that too, which I don't know. It's going to get really, really crazy very, very soon. Who else do we have here today? Doop. Got John Gibson in the house. What's up? Great to see you all today. PPJ bringing the truth. Yes, sir. I try to every day. You have a wonderful weekend as well, my friend. I love it. Who else we got here? Litecoin Leo. What's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you being part of the show. And everyone, it is fantastic. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, the Patreon is at 4:30 Eastern, Mondays and Fridays. Today, I am not sure entirely what we're going to talk about yet, but I have a couple things up my sleeve. So, you have a beautiful, wonderful day. I will see those of you who are part of the Patreon this afternoon. The rest of you have a beautiful and wonderful weekend. Be blessed.